This season is against Daniel Cormier. What a stuffy, Cormier really is. I think if you really get to know Daniel Cormier, he's really not. He's an asshole. He was an asshole. I mean, he didn't really connect with any of the fighters here.
Got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. They're saying, like, just engage. He's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's like 2 years younger than him.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his mark.
Paddy Pimblett just dropped a verbal atomic bomb on Arman Tsarukyan, and this isn't your typical pre-fight trash talk. This is character assassination mixed with fight predictions, and Paddy's coming for blood on multiple fronts. He's absolutely torching Tsarukyan's reputation, calling out his pattern of pulling out of fights, roasting him for that insane headbutt incident with Dan Hooker at the weigh-ins, and then dropping this massive prediction that he's going to knock out Justin Gaethje when they step into the octagon. But here's what makes this whole situation absolutely wild. Dana White just confirmed that the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy is getting the next title shot against Ilia Topuria. So we're not just talking about regular fight hype here. We're talking about a man who believes he's about to knock out one of the most dangerous strikers in the lightweight division and then take the belt. The confidence is off the charts, but the stakes just got even higher.
Is the first fight of the Paramount Plus era, so what can fans expect? What are you excited for?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great card. Like you said, the main event is fun and title implications, and everybody wants the winner of this fight to fight Ilia Topuria. See how that plays out throughout the year, and then the Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes fight is the greatest women's fight of all time.
But hold up, because Dana White just revealed something that changes everything about how we view Arman Tsarukyan's career trajectory, and it's a brutal lesson for every fighter watching. Dana straight up confirmed that Tsarukyan's behavior at those weigh-ins, specifically that moment when he headbutted Dan Hooker, directly cost him a title shot. Think about that for a second. You can be one of the best fighters in the world, you can have an incredible record, you can be knocking on the door of championship gold. But if you act like a maniac outside the cage, it can destroy the biggest opportunity of your life. Dana's not playing games here. He's making it crystal clear that your behavior outside the octagon matters just as much as your performance inside it. And now Tsarukyan's watching other fighters get opportunities that should have been his, all because he couldn't control himself for 30 seconds at a weigh-in. That's got to be eating him alive.
I obviously am not one of these fans, but some fans thought Arman should have been the one to get a 155 title pound shot.
We knew that would happen too.
Of course. Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to
100%,
not go with him? It did, right?
A lot of things have factored in, you know. Yeah.
Now here's where Paddy Pimblett gets absolutely ruthless, and you can tell he's been waiting to unleash this for months. When Tsarukyan's name came up, Paddy didn't just throw shade, he went full scorched earth. He's blasting Tsarukyan for the headbutt incident, calling out his pattern of pulling out of fights at the last minute, and basically saying the guy has zero right to demand a title shot or act like he deserves special treatment. Paddy's framing this perfectly. He's positioning himself as the professional who shows up when he's supposed to fight, doesn't create unnecessary drama, and earns his opportunities the right way. Meanwhile, he's painting Tsarukyan as the guy who had his chances but blew them through his own bad decisions. It's psychological warfare at its finest, and Paddy's sending a message to the UFC brass that he's the reliable option, the guy they can count on to show up and perform without the backstage politics and headaches.
So what about this fucking Arman fella, dude? What are we saying, this posh cunt?
Fuck him. Simple as, lad. I'm getting sick of getting asked about him and people talking about him. Oh, he should be in this interim title fight. He shouldn't fucking headbutt people at weigh-ins then, should he, lad? And punch fans in us when he's walking out, lad, and pull out a title fight the night before. So as far as I'm concerned, lad, he can eat shit, lad, and fucking, as Dana said, he can get back to the drawing board.
Nice. Get that one out of the way early on Arman Tsarukyan. He could have been in the mix for this fight, but I just feel like there's a lot of ulterior factors that people aren't considering other than just his recent win over Dan Hooker. I know he's a top contender, but there's a whole lot that he's done wrong before, and this is the big Paramount debut.
And lad, people are saying, like, just engage. He's older than that, lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's like 2 years younger than him.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his mark.
But get this, when it comes to Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett is speaking with the kind of unshakable confidence that either makes legends or creates highlight reel knockouts going the other way. He's not talking about grinding out a decision or playing it safe for 5 rounds. He's talking about a finish, plain and simple. And here's his logic. Yeah, Gietch hits like a truck and has knockout power that can end fights in an instant, but he's also hittable. Paddy sees those exchanges where Gietch leaves himself open, takes shots while he's throwing his own, and that's where the opportunity exists. In Paddy's mind, it's not about avoiding Gietch's power, it's about timing him perfectly and landing the right shot when that window opens. He's basically saying he's going to beat fire with fire, and he believes his timing and accuracy will give him the edge when they're standing and trading. That's either supreme confidence or complete delusion, but Paddy's betting his title shot hopes on it.
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know he can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So, for using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje. And I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke, and obviously one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. And I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as.
Now listen to this part, because Michael Chandler just weighed in on the Gietch versus Pimblett matchup, and his take might surprise some people. Chandler's picking Justin Gietch as the favorite, and he's not being subtle about it. While he gives Paddy respect and acknowledges his skills, Chandler sees Gietch as the more complete fighter overall, the guy with more tools, more experience in big moments, and the kind of relentless pressure that can break opponents mentally and physically. But here's where it gets really interesting. Chandler goes even further and predicts that Gietch has what it takes to beat Ilia Topuria later this year for the title. That's a massive statement considering how dominant Topuria has looked, but it shows just how much confidence Chandler has in Gietch's championship-level abilities. So we've got Paddy saying he's going to knock out Gietch, and we've got Chandler saying Gietch is going to knock out the current champion. Somebody's math is about to get seriously corrected.
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his, his haircut and the way he talks and the, some of the, the strength of schedule. People don't give him a lot of credit, but when I fought him in April in Miami, I'm not going to say that I was surprised because I was expecting the best version of Paddy, but he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, which I can't, but if I had to lean one direction, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
Meanwhile, Michael Morales is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, and his approach to his next fight shows exactly why he's climbing the rankings so methodically. He's not rushing into anything or demanding big names just because he can. Instead, he's letting talks develop behind the scenes with the UFC while keeping his options open for whatever makes the most sense. He mentions that a fight with JDM would be perfect for where he is right now, solid competition that lets him keep building momentum without jumping into deep waters too early. But here's what separates smart fighters from the rest. Morales also makes it clear that if the UFC puts a bigger challenge in front of him, someone higher ranked or more high profile, he's absolutely ready to step up and take it. That's the kind of confidence and flexibility that gets you fast-tracked up the division. Because the UFC loves fighters who say yes to opportunities instead of making excuses.
Esperamos ahorita el 20-0 que se viene, ojalá sea la oportunidad por el cinturón, que ya estamos en ese tema metidos. No se sabe si peleamos en junio o un poquito antes, dependiendo del rival, pero ya estamos como que avanzando en el tema de pelear ya.
Vi que mencionaste por ahí en alguna entrevista a Jack de la Magdalena. ¿Es algo que tú quieres, que te gustaría, o ya es algo que el UFC por ahí te comentó?
Me comentaron una posible pelea contra él, marzo o abril, pero luego salieron con lo de que también querían que yo peleara en enero, pero en enero pues yo no quería pelear tampoco. Simplemente le dije que quería las vacaciones, descansar bien, y muy aparte pues creo que también le habían propuesto a Makhachev la pelea en enero y tampoco quiso aceptar. Estábamos de acuerdo en eso, en que en enero nadie quería pelear, pero ahora en junio, julio a lo mejor y sí, y si me dan la pelea contra Magdalena mejor, una pelea más de experiencia, y si es con Makhachev también la voy a aceptar, no tengo problema.
Hold up, because when John Jones starts praising another fighter the way he just praised Islam Makhachev, you know it means something serious. This wasn't casual respect or obligatory praise. Jones placed Islam in this rare category of fighters who operate on a completely different level from everyone else. He's talking about guys who aren't just skilled, but who have this aura of inevitability around them, like you know they're going to dominate before they even step into the cage. Jones made it clear that Islam's success was never surprising to him because he recognized those championship qualities early on: the mindset, the presence, the way Islam shows up every single time like he's already won the fight in his head. Coming from someone like John Jones, one of the greatest fighters of all time, that kind of praise carries serious weight. When Jones looks at Islam, he sees something that reminds him of his own championship mentality, and that's about the highest compliment you can get in this sport.
Time we spoke to you, you mentioned about Islam Makhachev and the GOAT list in terms of GOAT list, you know.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he dominantly scored a victory over Jake Della Maddalena.
Mm-hmm.
So after that one, where do you put him in the GOAT list?
I think Islam is definitely one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's one of the guys for sure.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that he dominated him?
No, I'm not surprised that he's dominating competition. He's a special athlete. I mean, some guys are just chosen to do great things, and I think he's one of those guys. I'm excited to watch the rest of his career. I think he has a lot of work to do, but he's on the right path, and he's just doing everything right. Yeah, he's one of the guys in the sports I respect very much.
And get this, Daniel Cormier just experienced one of the most powerful moments of his coaching career, watching Islam Makhachev achieve something that completes a circle that's been years in the making. Cormier recalls this specific conversation where Islam pointed out that he had matched nearly all of Cormier's accomplishments, all those victories, all those achievements, except for one thing: holding 2 titles simultaneously. That was the one milestone that had eluded Islam up until now. And seeing Islam finally capture that 2-division championship status hit Cormier in a way that goes way beyond just watching another fighter succeed. This is about watching someone he considers a brother, someone from his camp, someone he's trained with and supported, rise even higher than himself. There's no jealousy there, no bitterness, just pure pride in watching someone you care about reach the absolute pinnacle of the sport. That kind of moment is rare in MMA, and it shows the special bond between Cormier and the entire AKA team.
Your relationship with Islam, and you met him as a kid. He barely, spoke any English. He was just a kid with this dream. What was it like for you to see him with the front row seat, to see him achieve that goal?
It's so satisfying. Anytime, we all give each other shit about stuff like that. We make jokes, but all I want is for him to be better than I ever was. All those guys. Every one of those guys that we trained together, like when Luke would fight, I wanted him to do better than me. When Kane would fight, when Habib would fight, all you want is for your brothers to do better than you. You don't want to. I want every record I ever held in AKA to belong to someone else by the time I'm done and gone. Because then that would mean that our gym, the gym that gave us all so much, still is producing champions. And champions at a rate that, when we were in our heyday, made us the best gym in the world.
But here's where things get absolutely insane. Dana White just announced that John Jones and Daniel Cormier will be coaching opposite teams on the Russian season of The Ultimate Fighter, and this is going to be must-watch television. We're talking about bringing their legendary rivalry into a completely new format where they'll be mentoring the next generation while standing on opposite sides, trying to prove whose methods and philosophy produce better fighters. The drama potential here is off the charts because you know these two can't be in the same room without the competitive fire igniting. For the fighters on that season, imagine being coached by either Jon Jones or Daniel Cormier during one of the most important phases of your career. That's an incredible opportunity that could change their entire trajectory. But the real story is going to be watching Jones and Cormier try to maintain professionalism while their egos and competitive nature clash behind the scenes.
How do you feel about Jones and DC doing this show together internationally? The reality show?
Now here's the kicker. Dana White calls the Jones versus Cormier rivalry the biggest of his entire career. And when you think about all the feuds he's witnessed over the decades, that's saying something massive. He's talking about intensity that went beyond typical fight promotion and became genuinely personal in ways that made every interaction between them feel explosive. Dana recalls this specific moment that perfectly captures how volatile their relationship became. They ended up in an actual physical fight in the MGM lobby, cameras around, people everywhere, and they still couldn't control the animosity between them. That wasn't staged, that wasn't for show, that was real hatred spilling out in public. When two elite fighters can't even be in the same building without it potentially turning into a brawl, you know you're dealing with something special. That incident shows why their rivalry was so compelling to fans. It was authentic, raw emotion that made every moment between them feel significant and dangerous.
Did that like Russian Ultimate Fighter type show against each other, coached against each other?
Huh.
You didn't know about
It's
that?
out?
I believe it's filmed, but it's not out.
Interesting.
There's a face-off photo already. DC's talking about doing a wrestling match or a boxing match against Jones, says that they've agreed to a wrestling match. Have you heard of this?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is while you were in Fiji. This was all going down. Craziness.
Wait, it gets even more intense, because Jon Jones is now lashing out at Daniel Cormier and making it clear he's frustrated with how things have played out between them recently. According to Jones, he's tried multiple times to move past their old beef, to find some kind of peace or mutual respect, but those attempts have gone absolutely nowhere. Jones is positioning himself as the mature one now, saying he's done trying to extend olive branches if the other side isn't willing to meet him halfway. He's basically flipping the script on their entire dynamic for years. People saw Jones as the villain in their feud, but now he's framing himself as the one trying to be professional while Cormier keeps the rivalry alive. Whether you believe that or not probably depends on which side you've been on, but it's clear that Jones is tired of the ongoing back and forth. He's suggesting that their legendary feud belongs in the past, and that working together professionally could actually help clear away some of that old baggage.
Besides Jones and DC, and then we'll take Conor out of the equation because Conor had a couple opponents like Khabib and Nate Diaz where it got real tense. What's the number one most tense rivalry that comes to mind that you've had to be a part of?
It would absolutely be those two. They fist fought.
Oh, yeah.
In the lobby of the MGM.
Yeah. Is
So
Dave Schaller in the middle of them?
yeah,
Scholler?
Scholler blew that one. Yeah.
He's an all-time picture of just his panicked face in the middle of the two of them. Yeah, wasn't going to be able to pull those two guys apart.
The hardest thing is that when you're there, you're not there for a photo op. You're there to make sure these guys don't.
However, Daniel Cormier has a completely different perspective, and he's not ready to let go of the competitive fire between them. Cormier says he still wants to face Jon Jones, but not in MMA. He's talking about a pure wrestling match, and he believes the outcome would be heavily in his favor. He makes a clear distinction between MMA grappling and freestyle wrestling, pointing out that while Jones is incredibly strong and skilled in mixed martial arts, pure wrestling is where Cormier holds a decisive advantage. We're talking about Olympic-level credentials versus someone who didn't come through the traditional Division I wrestling route. Cormier's confidence here is backed by decades of elite wrestling experience, and he's saying a short freestyle wrestling match would end quickly with him in complete control. It shows that even if the MMA rivalry is over, Cormier still has that competitive edge and wants to prove he's better than Jones in at least one arena where technique and pedigree matter more than anything else.
It'd be great to have Daniel Cormier a part of this show. Obviously, him and I have a rough history. I know he doesn't like me very much. We've beaten him twice, but I think him coming out here to Thailand, filming with me, would be a great opportunity for us to mend this jacked up relationship. But I have no problems with him. If anything, him coming out here would give us both an opportunity to maybe start a friendship.
John Jones fired back at DC's wrestling challenge, and you can tell he's genuinely frustrated with how this situation keeps playing out. Jones suggests that every time he tries to move forward and find some kind of peace, Cormier pulls them back into the same old drama. In Jones' view, he's made multiple genuine attempts to end their rivalry, but Cormier has no interest in letting it go. He wants the tension to continue permanently. Jones is framing himself as the one trying to be mature, while Cormier keeps feeding the beast of their old hatred. He also reflected on their experience working together professionally, saying it never felt comfortable behind the scenes even when they were supposed to be civil. Jones describes an environment where Cormier kept to his own circle and carried himself in a way that created uncomfortable tension, confirming their long-standing friction rather than easing it. Whether you believe Jones or not depends on your perspective, but it's clear he sees Cormier as the roadblock to any kind of resolution.
In the last few years, we see that MMA fighters are more competing in grappling matches.
Yep.
For you, if there's a right offer, would you like to grapple with somebody?
Grappling? I don't know so much. Wrestling? Yeah, I'll wrestle John Jones. Yeah, they can give me and John Jones a wrestling match. Whoever wants to pay for that, yeah, tell us. We'll wrestle me and John Jones. Freestyle wrestling. Me and John Jones, 2-3 minute periods. It won't take that long though.
How do you visualize that matchup?
It would be...
Now get this wild revelation. Daniel Cormier admits that he and John Jones seriously considered facing each other in a boxing match at one point, which shows that competitive drive between them never really dies. Despite their personal differences and the fact that they'll probably never like each other as people, that desire to test themselves against one another as fighters remains undeniable. Cormier talks about how they've argued about fighting in different formats, boxing, wrestling, you name it, and each conversation reignites that competitive fire. He describes it as almost a gift, having someone with Jones' level of skill who also has that same need to prove who's better. That feeling still sits with Cormier today, meaning that even now, years after their last fight, if something came up that put them on opposite sides again, that competitive instinct would come roaring back. It's fascinating psychology. They can't stand each other personally, but they respect each other's abilities so much that they can't resist the urge to compete.
Against Daniel Cormier, what a stuffy, Cormier really is. I think if you really get to know Daniel Cormier, he's really not. He's an asshole. He was an asshole. I mean, he didn't really connect with any of the fighters here. He's just an asshole. I tried to make peace with him many times, and he made it very clear that he wants to be enemies for the rest of his life because how lucrative it is.
But you guys having fun here.
There was moments where we got to laugh, but for the most part, he's a dickhead. You look at the way that he treats his staff members. He brought 10 yes men out with him and literally, go get me my water. Where's my this? Why is that this? He just bosses guys around. And the times we weren't filming, he wasn't very sociable with the people on set. He's just a dickhead. I think people that really work with him know that.
Kamaru Usman jumps into this conversation with a perspective that a lot of people might be overlooking. And it's crucial for understanding how a Jones versus Cormier wrestling match might actually play out. Usman believes it's easy to underestimate John Jones in pure wrestling, because he didn't come through the traditional division route that so many fighters did. But here's the key point. When Jones decides to wrestle, when he commits to taking someone down and controlling them, he absolutely dominates even top-level opponents. Usman's saying that Jones has this unique ability to impose his will in grappling exchanges despite not having that traditional wrestling pedigree, which speaks to incredible athleticism and fight IQ. Any matchup with Cormier wouldn't be simple or straightforward because on the mat, Jones is a legitimate threat who can hang with anyone. Usman's basically warning people not to sleep on Jones just because he didn't wrestle in college. The guy's an elite grappler who might surprise everyone.
Fun here.
There was moments where we got to laugh, but for the most part, he's a dickhead. You look at the way that he treats his staff members. He brought 10 yes men out with him and literally, go get me my water. Where's my this? Why is that this? He just bosses guys around. And the times we weren't filming, he wasn't very sociable with the people on set. He's just a dickhead. I think people that really work with him knows that.
However, Islam Makhachev offers a different take that highlights exactly why this hypothetical wrestling match is so intriguing. Islam thinks Daniel Cormier can realistically challenge John Jones if it's wrestling, only under pure wrestling rules. He explains that while Jones is an incredible athlete, Pure wrestling is a completely different game that showcases Cormier's Olympic-level abilities in a way MMA doesn't always highlight. In a wrestling match without strikes or submissions, just takedowns and control, Cormier's technical wrestling background gives him a real advantage. Islam frames it as a setting where the matchup becomes much more even than under MMA rules, possibly even tilted in Cormier's favor because you're isolating the one discipline where DC has spent his entire life excelling. Coming from someone like Islam with his elite wrestling background, that perspective carries serious weight and shows that even Jones' incredible skills might not be enough in that specific scenario.
Say this does happen. What you thinking, Henry? Because I don't think it's what people are general consensus is thinking. I don't think that's how this goes down.
What do you mean, like as in?
What you thinking? You think how you thinking?
No, if you're telling me you got John Jones?
I'm not telling you anything. All I'm saying is that's the general consensus, and I'm telling you right now, it's not that simple. Because John Jones never went to the Division I and had the accolades and all of that, people sleep on just how talented John Jones. I believe John Jones could have been a multiple-time Division I champion. I believe that. John Jones was that good at wrestling, that good. And I've watched John Jones decide, I'm gonna wrestle. And when he decided to wrestle, he made people look bad to where listen, I'm telling you, this man is just freak athletic talent and the whole family. You know, John and Arthur, both state champion, New York state champions. You know, I know that's not saying a lot because that's high school and DC definitely has the international, accolades. But listen, they fought. And yes, I understand that's just fighting, that's MMA, but when he came down to that wrestling exchange, John is no slouch. This ain't gonna be just that.
But let's talk about something completely different that has Kamaru Usman cracking up. The idea of having 7 or 8 title fights at the UFC's upcoming stacked card. Usman's reaction is hilarious, but also makes a perfect point about why this might be overkill. He jokes that watching that many 5-round battles back-to-back would be absolutely exhausting, not just for the fighters, but for the fans too. Usman admits he might even be asleep by the 3rd fight, which perfectly captures how overwhelming that kind of card would actually be. Think about it, title fights are long, intense, and emotionally draining to watch. Stringing 7 of them together in one night is just too much of a good thing. The later fights would probably suffer because everyone, fighters, fans, commentators, would be completely drained by that point. Usman's making it clear that while the idea sounds amazing on paper, in practice, it would be a recipe for disaster where the quality suffers because of the quantity.
Сказал, что с Джоном Джонсом поборолся бы и, цитирую, надрал бы ему задницу. Как ты думаешь, насколько если эта борцовская схватка произошла бы все-таки, она, возможно, может произойти в Лиге РАФ, Cormier был бы успешен?
Ну, знаете, такое противостояние, где только в борьбе Cormier может потянуть Джон Джонсом, потому что Джон Джонс хорошо борется, но борьба это стихия Cormier, и это парень олимпийского уровня. Это большой уровень.
And here's where things get really interesting for the featherweight division. Ilia Topuria is setting a very clear tone for his potential rematch with Alexander Volkanovski, and he's making it crystal clear that he's not looking to leave this one in the hands of the judges. Topuria is saying his plan, his goal, his entire mindset going into this fight is to get a decisive finish by knockout or submission. This would be happening in Volkanovski's backyard in Australia, which adds another massive layer of intensity to the whole situation. Fighting on enemy territory where the crowd will be against him and the pressure will be enormous, but Topuria isn't fazed by that challenge. In fact, he's leaning into it, saying he wants to leave absolutely no doubt about the outcome this time. He's not interested in a close decision that people can debate afterward. He wants to finish Volkanovski in a way that makes a definitive statement and proves he's the undisputed king of the featherweight division.
They're talking this 6-7 title fights. First and foremost, Henry, pardon my French, but who the fuck wants to watch 7 title fights back-to-back, 5-round title fights back-to-back-to-back? What if the 4 or the 5 or the 6 in a row are boring? I think it's a bad idea. Bad idea because first of all, we want to see contender fights. We want to see guys who are willing to go risk their lives out there. When you're the champion, your whole goal is to keep that. You want to be smart. You want to be tactical. You want to strategically retain your title. Champions aren't going out there to just go, yeah, we're going to throw caution to the wind and just swing for the fences like we're in a bar fight. That's not what champions do, because that's not what gets you to be a champion. You got to be smarter than everybody else. And listen, so this whole notion of let's put 6 title fights on there, I think that's a bad idea. And honestly, I might be asleep by round 3, by title fight 3.
So there you have it. We've got Paddy Pimblett predicting he'll knock out Gietzsch for a title shot. Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier bringing their legendary rivalry to the Ultimate Fighter, and potential rematches brewing across multiple divisions. The lightweight title picture is about to get shaken up in a major way, and these personal rivalries are adding layers of drama that go way beyond just fighting for belts. This isn't just about athletic competition anymore. We're watching egos, legacies, and years of built-up tension all collide at the highest level of the sport. Do you think Paddy actually has what it takes to knock out Gietzsch? Or is his confidence going to get him sent to the Shadow Realm? And can Jones and Cormier actually work together professionally? Or is this Ultimate Fighter season going to explode into chaos? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Smash that like button if this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind the scenes. And make sure you subscribe with notifications on, because the MMA world is about to get absolutely wild. I'll see you in the next one.
Now he has more confidence, you know, but I think maybe this is a little bit mistake for him too.
A mistake? Why?
Because if he tries like more pressure on me, I think I'm knocking him out.
Okay, and that's your prediction for this fight? You feel like you will knock Alex Volkanovski out?
Bro, I'm fighting the territory enemy, you know. I need to finish this fight. Like a submission, knockout, it's like a complete domination 5 rounds. This is my goal. My goal is like finishing him.
Diego Lopez just admitted something that could change everything about his rematch with Alexander Volkanovski. And what he revealed about his first fight. It's going to shock you, because this isn't just about what went wrong. This is about a fighter who completely lost himself in the biggest moment of his career, and now he's about to prove whether he can fix it, or if Volkanovski broke him for good.
Time now, I think it's different. Now I have more recurse still for this fight. Now I'm more light, like I don't have the pressure. I think the first time I fight Volk, I only try finishing here with one big punch, you know? I forget like many things in this fight.
Okay.
So, and I forget the best thing in my life. Enjoy the moment, you know? Enjoy the moment. If the people see the video before the fight, when I'm entering the octagon, when I'm in the octagon, I'm so serious.
Yes.
I'm so serious. The people know me, I'm never serious. I mean, every time I smile, every time it's like a joking, different people. So this time, I just enjoy the moment, you know? I just enjoy the moment. I think when I enjoy the moment, like I'm a more dangerous guy in the division.
So here's what Lopez is finally admitting about that first fight with Volkanovski. He was hunting.